Hey guys, Zack here, and welcome back to another action figure review, and today we'll be taking a look at the Monsterarts Godzilla Ultima. Now, this version of Godzilla comes from the 2021 anime series Godzilla Singular Point, which, it's been a minute since I've seen it, but from what I remember really liking it. I know some people have a problem with it being a little too complicated and, complex, and to be fair, I can see where they're coming from because this is, this show is not for the simple-minded. Let's just say it. I don't want to sound like a Rick and Morty fan base where, oh, you have to have a high IQ to watch Godzilla Singular Point. But show does get a little complex. But I still think Singular Point is a very good show. But then again, it's been a while since I've seen it, so I'd have to watch it again. So yeah. So I actually got this figure a while ago, but I don't know. I've just been kind of holding off on this review because honestly, I don't even know why. I bought this thing, I took some pictures, but I don't know. I guess I'm just feeling a little bit of a YouTube burnout or content creator, whatever. I guess I'm just feeling burnt out, or I was feeling burnt out about reviewing figures. But now I'm kind of getting back into it. So yeah, um, yeah. I don't really have a whole lot else to say. So let's just get right into this. Of course, to start this review, we'll take a look at the paint. And the painting on this figure is really nice. So let's take a closer look at that. So, as we can see here, most of the body is this charcoal gray color, which I think looks really nice. But I also really like how, it's very subtle. But, actually, you probably can't see it on camera. But there are some, very subtle, blue highlights on the legs here and, throughout the figure. And you can kind of see it there. But yeah, I mean on camera it just looks like the lighting, but it's a little bit of blue there. But I think that really does do a good job of making the paint here stick out. Of course, we do have some very bright gray, almost like a whitish color for the spikes throughout the figure, on his arm here. You have a nice grayish color. And on the neck here, on the chest, we have the ridges here. They're painted white as well. It would have been nice if there was a little more airbrushing on the sides, just a little more shading, but still it doesn't look bad whatsoever. And again, we have that same coloration going on the side of the neck here, and on the back of the head and neck. Which really quick, going to the head, we can see that the eyes here are painted yellow with orangish, brownish pupils, which looks alright. There you go. It looks alright. Doesn't look fantastic, the eyes, but still, they're not terrible. The inside of the mouth here, we can see that, we have this very glossy shade of this pinkish reddish color, which looks nice. And of course, the teeth here are painted a yellowish whitish color, which looks good. And going to the dorsal plates here, again, they're painted the same color as the rest of the spikes on the front of the figure, the side of the figure, and so on. But in the dorsal plates, we have this red coloration going on, which does look very nice. And this continues all the way to here, and then after that, all the smaller spikes here, or whatever you want to call them, they're painted the same grayish color. And of course, lastly, the toenails and fingernails are painted the same color as the teeth. This, this nice, yellowish whitish color. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the painting on this figure. And the painting on this figure is really good. I like it a lot. All the blue highlights throughout the figure looks great. And yeah, overall, the painting on this figure looks great. So the painting here definitely gets a pass. Now we'll take a look at the articulation, and considering that this guy is an Monsterarts figure, I think it's safe to say that the articulation on this guy is going to be really cool. So let's take a closer look. So starting off with the head, we can see that the mouth can open like so. And the thing that's really cool is that it doesn't feel like a ball joint. It feels more like a hinge, because most of this figure is it's mainly ball joints for the joints, but for the mouth, I think it's really cool. It's not just the bottom jaw that can open, it's the lower jaw can open up as well, which really reminds me of the Monsterarts Shin Godzilla, which I don't have, but I've seen a lot of reviews of that figure. So when I see this sort of or not really mechanism, I guess just this design style for a Godzilla figure or whatever, this that's what I get reminded of. But yeah, anyway, the head, is on a ball joint. And the base of the neck here, it's more like a swivel, but it is a ball joint because you can, like, it does, like, you know, you can move the head around like so. And again, the rest of the figure is just ball joints, so the shoulder is on a ball joint. You can move it like so. I have a bend at the elbow here. It's not great, but there's still a little bit of something there, which is cool. A ball joint at the wrist here. Going to the thighs, we can see that they are on ball joints as well, so you can move them any way you want. We have a bend at the knee. A ball joint for the shin area right here. It's very tight, but there is a functioning ball joint here. And there's a ball joint on the feet. So, yeah, or a ball joint for the feet, I should say. And going to the tail here, this guy has a really long tail. So, I won't go into like great detail with the amount of ball joints here, but just know there are 20 segmented ball joints across this figure. One thing to point out on mine, the tip here likes to pop off very easily, so just be careful for that. But overall, yeah, the tail feels very nice to, you know, pose. It holds a pose really well, which is surprising because the tail itself, like, the tail is really long, and it's like, of course, it's really heavy, so like trying to like, it's actually really nice that like the joints are strong enough to like hold a pose like this. Granted, in the show, I know the tail like goes into like other positions that this figure can't really like pull off. Cause like I know like the tail like here just kind of like loops around, like so. I'll put up a picture, but this figure can't do that. But still, it is really cool that this figure, you know, the tail can hold a pose. So yeah, though to be careful, you don't want to break this thing now. You don't want to like bend the joints too hard, but still, this figure can hold a pose pretty well. So, yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the articulation. And the articulation on this guy is very nice. So the articulation here, I'd say definitely gets a pass. We also get this alternate headpiece, and to put this on, all you gotta do is just pop the head off and pop the new head on. And this is supposed to replicate the scene in the show where he breathes his atomic breath, but this figure doesn't really come with an effect piece like that, so it's just weird that, you know, he comes with this. I mean, I don't know, like, an effect piece would have been really nice to see, but, you know, it's whatever. You know, this figure's fine on its own, but an effect piece would have been nice to see. And also, another thing to point out, so, when this figure has his, like, mouth really, like, wide open like this, and you don't have an effect piece, it reminds me of, that, like, picture of, like, Hank Hill, but his mouth is open really wide. I don't know, this just looks goofy. It looks really goofy without the effect piece, but I digress. I know, you know, you can buy, like, custom-made effect pieces, but still, it would have been really nice if this figure came with an effect piece, but that's just me. We also get these really cute little small, like, Jet Jaguar figures. We have the prototype Jet Jaguar and the Battle Jet Jaguar, and these are cool little figures and all. The sculpting and detailing here is really nice, but, like, they're not painted. And it's like, why? I mean, granted, like, you know, you could paint them yourself, but the fact that they're not painted is just kind of weird to me. I mean, granted, it'd probably come out really sloppy, but still, just to have these guys, like, you know, unpainted like this, it just looks kind of, I don't know, I would have preferred if these guys were painted, but that's just me. Now we'll take a look at the sculpt, and the sculpting on this figure is actually very nice, very one-to-one to how he looked in the show. Of course, like I mentioned earlier, he has his really long tail. In my review of the Bandai Movie Monster Series Godzilla Ultima, I said that the tail on that figure was not as long as how it was in the anime. And looking at it here, yeah, it's pretty accurate. Like I said, I can barely get the full figure in frame when I have the tail fully stretched out like that. It's really cool. Another thing I said when I reviewed the Bandai vinyl of Godzilla Ultima is that the bottom jaw was way too big, so in the front, I think he looked very, very off, but here, the bottom jaw isn't actually too bad looking. Like, if you look at him head on, like, it actually doesn't look bad at all compared to the Bandai vinyl, so yeah, so now from every angle, this guy looks really cool. So that's pretty much it for the sculpting, and the sculpting on this guy is very good, so the sculpting here definitely gets a pass. Now we'll take a look at the detailing, and the detailing on this figure is very good, so let's take a closer look at that. So starting off with the head here, we can see that all the bumps and scales in the head here looks really nice, and like all the spikes on the back here, again, looks great. Again, the detailing for the jaw is also really nice. All the ridges here looks really good. And even the inside of the mouth, we have a lot of really nice detailing. The teeth are detailed very well, and all the gums and the membranes on the side here, and yeah, just a lot of really nice detailing there. Throughout the figure, of course, we have a lot of really nice scaling throughout. And again, the ridges on the side of the neck here, and the ridges on the front of the body here are detailed very nicely. Again, we have just a lot of nice musculature for the arms here, and again, just a lot of really nice scaling. Everything here is just really nicely defined. Again, on the side of the body, a lot of nice musculature with a lot of really nice scaling. And the legs are detailed really nicely as well. All like the seams and creases here are detailed beautifully. So yeah, again, we go to the feet here. Again, a lot of really nice detailing overall. Everything here is just very nicely defined. Going to the dorsal plates, again, all the little creases or all the like cracks and whatnot in the dorsal plates look great. Again, they just look really well defined. And going to the tail here, again, we just have a lot of really nice musculature and a lot of really nice scaling throughout. This really, really ridiculously long tail. So, yeah, just a lot of really nice detailing here. And that's pretty much it for the detailing on this figure. And the detailing on this figure is really good. So the detailing here, I'd say definitely gets a pass. Now we'll do some size comparisons. First, here we have the Bandai Movie Monster Series Godzilla Ultima. Here we have the Bandai Movie Monster Series Jet Jaguar, the prototype version. Here we have the Bandai Movie Monster Series Godzilla. Is it Godzilla Phileas? Godzilla Earth? One of the two. And of course, here we have some hand sanitizer. And here we have Dr. Billy Grant. So at the end of the day, should you get this figure? Honestly, I'd say yes. Well, yes, but well, it's complicated. Overall, I think this is a great figure. You know, I think the painting is really good. I think the articulation, the sculpting, I really like the sculpting here and the detailing. All of that is great here, and the accessories. It would have been nice if we'd gotten a beam effect, but still, the little Jet Jaguars are cool, and the alternate head, you know, really cool. I like this figure. Overall, I do think that this is a very good figure. But there's just one thing that I'm not the biggest fan of, and that's the price of this guy. Now, if you were to get this guy online from, say, like Big Bad Toy Store or Awesome Collector or whatever, you would normally pay $115, which I think is a little bit much for this figure. I think, like, at most it should be, like, at least, like, 100 or 95. Something like that. Not 115. But I didn't even, like, plan on getting this figure, right? I didn't pre-order it. I didn't do any of that. I just said, like, it looks cool, but I probably won't get it. But I was walking around a comic book store once, and sure enough, they had this figure sitting there. And I thought, you know what? Why not? I'll pick it up. Now, I didn't realize until after buying this figure that the store I bought it from sold this guy for like $20 more than what it normally retails. So I had to pay like a little over $135, which, yeah, it's more ridiculous. Not by a whole lot, but still, there is that $20 difference that it's not that great. So, yes, I do think this is a great figure, but I don't think the price tag is, like, good for this figure. I think, again, like, at most, like, $190 I think would be fair. But even then, I feel like that's kind of pushing it, like, without an effect piece whatsoever. But, yeah, so if you do get this figure, definitely try to go for the cheaper alternative, which might be hard. So if you do want this figure at, like, a cheaper price than that, then honestly, good luck. I don't know what else to tell you because this figure is pretty expensive, so yeah. But overall, I do think this is a really nice figure. So if you have the money, definitely pick it up. But if you don't have the money, then like I said, try to look for a cheaper deal. So yeah. Anyway, that is it for today. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you in the next video. Peace Zack out.